In the media nowadays, my second point is in the media nowadays, there's a disturbing way that men are being portrayed. And that's because the media have begin to pander to women. Because since the feminism movement is much more popular, some media or some films have begin to pander to women, those that are directed to women. And if you look at TV shows like The Simpsons, even though The Simpsons a long time ago, Family Guy, then Girls Trip, and some other movies that are mostly focused on women, you get to see that the way men are being portrayed in these movies, even in Nigerian movies, especially in Nigerian movies, the way men are being portrayed in these movies, they portray them as people that are just they are useless. In other words, the only thing they portray men as if the only thing that is important about a man is just his penis. It's just his ability to fuck a woman and then that's it. Because if you look at those movies, look at, for example, look at Homer Simpson in The Simpsons. You can see Homer as a useless person. All he does is eat and he doesn't even try to raise his kids. He's as useless as they come. Okay? Then look at Family Guy. Family Guy is another useless person. Where Peter is just playing around, it must well be like a 5-year-old child and he's just playing up and down and he's not doing anything as a father. And then look at Girls Trip. Girls Trip with Queen Latifah and I think Vivica Fox, no, like Queen Latifah and Will Smith's wife. There was a scene there where Will Smith's wife, I think, met a man, and the man was very sexy. And then all she could talk about when she was with her friends was the size of the man's penis. Oh, it was so huge, it was as big as a house or something like that. And then you can see movies like this movie that this brother did, this movie of strippers that I've forgotten the white guy that did. It was about people stripping, and it was about that was the only thing that they could show about men. And if you come to Nigerian movies, too, the portrayal of men is just portray men as people that just beat their wives and just have sex with. A good example is Half of a Yellow Sun, that the Nigerian movie. Oh, the man just is someone that he leaves his wife, cheats on his wife, and sleeps with another woman. Or other Nigerian movies where the man beats the woman black and blue, and the whole time, the whole movie, the man is just beating the woman up and down. And so they begin to create this disturbing image about this is what a man looks like. Someone that is only good for procreation, someone that will beat you and someone that will just dominate you. And so just make sure you have sex with him and then just get away from him before he kills you from his beating. So that is not a good trend. And you can see it even in American movies. This trend of single mothers has now become much more evident, which shows you that, which is in other words saying that men are just useless. A woman can raise a child by her own and she don't need a man. Yes, a woman needs a man, just as a child needs a father, just as a child needs a mother, the child needs a father too. But they create that impression in the movies, and that is really, really disturbing because it this feminism movement is responsible for that in some way, because by pushing the women agenda forward, they feel that they have to drag the men back. They have to present men. It's like as if it's a competition. Okay, if we are going to push the women movement, then we have to destroy the men so that the women movement can be on top and shine. So which is not good. And so it happens a lot in movies. And that hypocrisy of and especially is funny that men are portrayed this way, especially when they claim that feminism is about equality. So why don't they portray men in a positive light and portray women in a positive light? That's not impossible. Another thing to realize is another point is that this feminism movement nowadays is become a power grab. What I mean by is a power grab is it has become opportunity for women to cry, shout, and scream their way to the top. You see, when this movement of this feminism movement, it has now become, in these days, it has become about women clamoring for those positions of power and saying, "Oh, women are not allowed here. We should be allowed here." So it doesn't. So it's not. So what they are fighting for is not necessarily equality. Is to be in authoritative positions. That's what they're fighting. For example, you can hear an argument where women are saying, "Oh, there are not enough women doctors. There are not enough female doctors. There should be enough female doctors." And then Then you hear them argue again. Oh, there isn't enough CEOs. There isn't enough female CEOs. Oh, the women are not paid enough. The women are not paid. And those arguments are valid. I agree with that. But it looks like, it looks like the women, they never argue about those areas of society where there is no power in it. Like, for example, you never hear of women saying, oh, we need more female garbage collectors, or we need more female, or we need more female, what they call it, more female shoemakers in Nigeria. You never hear that. You never hear we need more female road sweepers, or you don't see the feminist movement clamoring for jobs that are not, that does not bring about authority, or does not put one in a position of power. They only direct their attention to jobs that bring about, that brings about importance. Oh, the CEO position, CEO position, doctor position, the head of the household. Those things that are associated with power. So it looks like that's what they're clamoring for. So they are not clamoring for really those areas that have nothing to do with power, that are just about people doing work. They're not clamoring for those areas. So, and that is very, very important, because if it is being a power grab, then it is not about equality. It's just about, then it's all about let's be in power so we can enjoy ourselves or oppress men if we want. So another hypocrisy, or another point about the hypocrisy of feminism is women. That there is this video I watched. It was about a Republican woman. So the Republican woman, what they put her on stage. So she was arguing that this issue of feminism, that she doesn't want it anymore. That she is happy to be a housewife and let her husband be in charge of things, and let her husband make decisions and take care of be in charge, just play the father role, the husband role. And so when they showed us this movie in feminism class, and when we watched it, we were all laughing, because to me, all of us felt that, oh man, this woman is just an idiot. She's just one of those people that feminism will just be, man, just people that the feminists will just look at and say, oh, you're just an embarrassment to the feminism movement. And so for a long time I thought that, but now as I watched the video, I realized it was because I was in a women's studies class, so my opinion was picked to a certain direction. But now I look at it, what I realize is these women are not stupid and they are not foolish. It's because they are not just interested in this feminist pursuit, or they think that, okay, that they have arrived, which is something that feminists, you don't hear feminists say. Feminists don't tell you, oh, what will happen, and then we know we're all equal. They never say that. It's always like, the movement is like someone driving a car that say, oh, I'm going to stop somewhere. But when you ask them, okay, where is the destination? Say, don't worry, I'm going to stop somewhere. Just know I'm going to stop somewhere. And so those when I look at it now, I see those women are people that maybe they are not just interested in it, or they feel that, see, I want to be at home. I don't want to be a CEO. I don't want to be a doctor. I just want to be a housewife, and that is it. And if you look at those women, other feminists, they become antagonistic towards those kind of women, because what happened? I read one article. It was about the lady was very, very antagonistic. It was very antagonistic to these women that say they are not interested in the women. It told them that, don't you know that some women fought for you to live? Don't you know that some women fought for you so that your husband will not cave your head in? Or don't you know some women fought for you so your husband will not rape you? Don't you know some women fought for you so that your husband will not do one horrible thing to you? Don't you know some women fought for you so you can be equal to your husband, that you are a disgrace to feminism movement, and da 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 da. So I kind of felt that is wrong. If you are a feminist and there's another woman that is not interested in the movement, or does not see the point of participating in the movement, if they say they are not interested, that's it. You cannot impose a movement or classify that person as a fool simply because they don't want to be part of your movement. That is wrong. That is really, really wrong. So I kind of feel that it's kind of hypocritical for you to say you're fighting for women's rights, and then when women don't join you, then you become antagonistic towards them and you start guilt tripping them, which is something that even a lot of women do, and sometimes my mom does it, like, oh, they guilt trip, they say, oh, after we fed you, after we did. So what I'm trying to get at is, if a woman is not interested in the movement, it doesn't mean that she's a fool. It might just mean that maybe she thinks that the feminist movement have accomplished what they set out to do, and which is something feminists don't think about. They never wonder, when will we reach that promised land where they will say, okay, the feminism movement has achieved its goals and now it's time for us to either rest or do other things. So another area of the hypocrisy is that there is now this open hatred towards men, and I see that a lot. I see that a lot sometimes in Nigeria, and I see that a lot among sometimes among lesbians, those ones where the women are in charge. They feel some of them have this kind of, it's not innate hatred, but it's more like something that has been created, some of that a man is just the enemy. They just see a man and he's the enemy. It can, something like that can start up in a very normal way. It can be, for example, let's say I'm at home now and then my wife is trying to make a decision. Let's say she's trying to decide if she should wear a red shoe or a black shoe. And then I say, and she's having trouble with it, I say, baby, wear the black shoe. The person I call, those people that hate men or the lesbians, it's not all lesbians actually. They will feel, they will want to question your authority, like, okay, who are you to speak? Or don't you know you should bow down to me because you are a man and you have oppressed us, or whatever. And even I remember the lecture that we had in class, the woman that was giving that lecture, on the feminism lecture, was a lesbian, and I could see the hatred that she had towards men. It was like, men are not. She said that they threw a party and some men came and they had to kick the men. Now that she doesn't know why some men will come to a party where they're not invited. And I'm like, lady, relax. All men are not your enemy. And I don't see that there is this open hatred towards men sometimes. Surely, sometimes in the company, that's why some people are kind of reluctant to give women authoritative position or make them the head. Some people feel that there can be that maybe tension between the man, the woman at the top, and the men. That sometimes the women may feel that they have to put the men in positions that are difficult just to make them know that, see, I'm the boss over you. And that has become, that is happening a lot. And you can also see that in this situation, men are put into a bind, because it's like this. If I am a husband and I'm authoritative, then a woman can say, oh, he hates women. Some feminists can say, oh, this one, he hates women. Look at how he just bossing his wife up and down, telling her what to do. This one down, this one down. If I'm here, I'll never allow this man to boss me around. So, but if I become a permissive husband, okay, whatever my wife wants, she does, then it becomes her. This one, even a man, you can't even control anything, not even in charge of anything. Look at how his wife is just messing up and down, and he's just sitting there and he's not even doing anything. So it becomes, it's like, you can't win either way. If you're authoritative, you hate women. If you're permissive, you are just a fool. They can ride you and so it's like you can ride you all over. So these are some of the issues, and there are many more issues that arise out of this feminism movement that needs to be addressed if this movement is supposed to move forward, it is expected to move forward. So I just want to, this is just this is an extra. So so in this issue of feminism, I think women need to understand that the feminism movement, even though it's for women to be equal to men, they need to understand that there are some men that are part of the movement, the feminism movement, that are actually rooting for them to achieve what they want to achieve. So an area where women can actually aspire for equality can be in area of pornography. That is one area I think that maybe women overlook, but is in area of pornography, women can aspire. There's an inequality there where women are treated like dogs, or no, not like dogs, but women are treated like just a being that you just have sex with and discard and treat anyhow, and just slap her around while you're having sex with her, shove her, tie her, whatever. And so I believe that is inhumane, and I believe that is wrong to portray women in that certain way. So pornography is an aspect where feminism can go towards and bring about equality between the sexes. So I want to talk about this. The extra I want to just bring up is bell hooks. So, like I said, feminism movement has always been for the white middle class woman, but from the second wave, women and African women started popping up. So bell hooks is an interesting cultural critic, and she's claimed in her book, she stated that, I think her book said feminism is for everyone. She stated that even though men enjoy patriarchy or men enjoy being in charge, they face some challenges too because of this system. You see, a man in a patriarchal society, which she claims her society is, I don't agree with that, but I'm just explaining her point. She said that men suffer too because in a patriarchal society, when a man is supposed to be in charge and be the superhero, men suffer a lot too because a man feels that he has to accomplish this role, that role, he has to be the provider, he has to decide this, he has to do that, he does not have to show any emotions, he has to, everything he has to do. And he has to provide food on the table for his wife and make sure his kids are fed and all that. So because of this, and they also have to have hatred towards women, because of all these requirements, men get hurt in the sense that if they feel something or if they are hurt in some way, they cannot share it with their wives because they feel that if I share it with her, she'll look at me as I'm a weak man or I'm not as strong as she thought I was or something. So men internalize a lot of these feelings, and you can see it even in Nigeria, in our society abroad in Nigeria. You can see men that are going through severe pain, but they will hold it. They don't want to look weak for their women. And so those are some of the areas that men suffer because feminism portrays the movement as, oh, men are just enjoying and we are just coming to be equal with them. But this inequality, men suffer it because a man knows that no matter how much he likes it, his wife is very important. His wife helps him. The wife cooks the food, the wife does some of the household chores, and he knows that if the wife is not in the picture, a part of his life is not going to be balanced. He knows that it's difficult for you to go to work when you're not eating. It's difficult for you to go to work when you have never washed your clothes. So a woman plays a role there. So what she's arguing that even though the feminism movement portray men as the enemies, she also accepts the fact that men are also suffering in the role that they've created for them, and that is really, really important because feminism movement don't talk about the men, or really talk about the men, or really talk about the issues that men are facing. So I just want to really thank Bell Hooks for acknowledging that, because I believe that is important, especially for feminists to know that men are not just eating rice and enjoying themselves. They are suffering in their own roles that society has created for them. So, and I believe, and you can look more, if you're interested in that idea, you can look it up. Just look for Bell Hooks and Feminism for Everybody. You can explore that idea more or buy her book. And so I just want to, so this brings us to the end of this segment. So our next segment is going to be the challenges of feminism. So it's going to be the challenges of feminism, and I would just like to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate the comments and the messages. So this segment, I hope, even though I hope that my point is clear and I hope you understand where I'm coming from, even though some of it may strike a nerve, but the real issue is that we should examine feminism critically, and we should not just discard people because, oh, we say, oh, he's a man and he's criticizing feminism, he must be a man hater. No, some people are passionate about the cause, but they want the cause to move towards a direction that they really feel is where it's headed to. So I would like to thank you for watching. You can follow us on Instagram. It's Soul Talk. It's Soul Talk on Instagram. And also you can share this video, like, and leave a comment or a message. I'll reply them if I can. And so I would like to say thank you for watching and see you next time. Take care.